Okay, class. So today we're going to talk about naming and classifying the angles. For today's objective, the students will be able to name angles in 4 different ways. The students will classify the angles as an acute, right, obtuse, or straight. And the students will be able to find the measurement of an angle. But first we're going to talk about naming an angle and classifying the angle. So what is an angle? An angle is a shape formed by 2 rays sharing a common endpoint, containing 2 rays in the vertex. So this is the vertex. It's a point common to 2 rays of a triangle or 2 sides of a polygon. This is the ray. A ray has one endpoint and it goes infinity in one direction. Note, angles are measured in degrees. So the symbol used to represent a degree is this symbol. How are angles used in real life? So angles used are in architecture, engineering, and transportation. And we use it in daily life. Engineers and architects use angles for design, roads, building, and sport facilities. And transportation, they use for traffic and then for airplanes. Now we're going to talk about naming angles. So how are we going to name angles? So there are several ways to name angles. Using the vertex, just the numbers, or using the points with the vertex in the middle. So the first one is using the vertex. So all you do to name this angle, you just get the letter that's outside the vertex, and that will be your naming of the angle. So this is an example. Angle O. That's another way to call this angle. The second one, we're going to use the number. The number is always inside of the angle. Remember that this is not a degree. This is just another way to call this angle. So we call it angle 1. The third one is using the point in with the vertex in the middle. So the O is always going to be in the middle. And you're going to use 3 letters. So you could either start with M, then O, and then start with P. So you could write it angle MOP. The second one, you could either write it POM. So the opposite. But just remember, O has to be in the middle. So you write it angle POM. Then there are 4 basic types of angles. We have the acute, the right, obtuse, and straight. An acute angle is measured in less than 90 degrees. And this is an example of how an acute angle looks like. And then it is measured more than 0 degrees but less than 90. And here are some examples of how an acute looks like. Next, which angle are not an acute? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Number 1, it is an acute. So I'm going to write it acute. Excuse my writing. Number 2, this one is a right angle. So this one is not an acute. So we circle this one. What about number 3? Number 3, yes, this is an acute. But remember, we're looking which angle are not an acute. Number 4, is it an acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Well, number 4 is an acute. What about number 5? Number 5 is an obtuse. So for the correct answer for this problem is number 2 and number 5. They're not an acute. Next, we're going to talk about right angle. So a right angle is measured exactly 90 degrees. And this is how it looks like. Sometimes it will always have a box. Whenever it has a box, that means a right angle. So we draw the square around the right angle so we could quickly identify it as a 90-degree angle. And this is how the 90-degree angle looks like. So you can kind of get an idea how a right angle looks like. So now we have another problem. Which angle is a right angle? Could it be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Well, 1 is in acute, so it cannot be a right angle. 2, it is in the right angle. 3 and 4, it cannot be because it's in acute, and 5 is in obtuse. So the only correct answer is number 2. Now we have the obtuse. An obtuse angle measures more than 90 degrees. So this is how it looks like. It's a little bit wider. So it is measured more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. And this is how an obtuse looks like. It is more open. Which angle is an obtuse? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Well, the correct answer is 5 because it's more wider. Number 2 is a right angle. 1, 3, and 4 is an acute. Next, we're going to talk about straight angle. So a straight angle is measured exactly 180. And this is how it looks like. It's just a straight line. And this is another example of a straight angle. Which angle is a straight angle? Is it number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6? Well, the only straight angle is number 6, so the correct answer is number 6. And that's it for this one.